Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone. My name is Simon Wanda, Project Officer in the section for Education for Sustainable Development at UNESCO headquarters. Before we start, please note that this section is run in English and French, and you can find the interpretation options in the globe button on the bottom of your screen. I'm pleased to moderate today's session, and today's session is the first of the 6 webinars of the 4th season of the UNESCO UNFCCC webinar series on climate change education for social transformation.
Thank you, Simon. Hello to everyone joining today. Yes, my response to that question is very closely linked to the work that we've been doing in the last more than a year. As many of you may know, within the working group 4 of the Greening Education Partnership, we are and have been developing the Greening Communities Guidance document, Lifelong Learning for Climate Resilient Communities.
So now I turn to Ms. Pati Ruiz Corzo. So from your work in pioneering a grassroots environmental movement in Mexico, promoting biodiversity protection, could you please let us know what are your views on what is a green community and what are the challenges when building one?
Hola.
Yes, Ms. Pati, please. My question was in regard to what you think is a green community and what are the challenges? You can proceed, please. Thank you.
Morning, everybody. And I'm very happy to be here to share the experience of 38 years of environmental education in Sierra Gorda Biosphere Reserve in central Mexico. We have been living from the very base in the rural communities of Sierra Gorda and environmental action since then. And continuously we organize and support in every possible way to make the action happen. We are a group of promoters of this perpetual activation. We have 38 years activating among the local communities through the schools, believing that the teachers are a key stakeholder that may activate so many levels of action. And I was young when I began this experience of weaving, but a green community begins from the very rural-based communities up to the highest levels of government that you may reach, because you would need a lot of money to make it happen. You have to develop a very strong funding effort around the world. I lived traveling and knocking doors, professional beggar for years, providing all this financial energy that needs all this activation. Greening community means a very wide tapestry of stakeholders and local actors from the governments, the local governments, and the state government and federal government trying to weave all the time. So a green community, it's a matter of building that community. Yeah, and the schools are the key. Yeah, how to activate all those potential ecological leaders. Yeah, and to have all the tapestry that covers the schools of Sierra Gorda. Yeah, where we have built this awareness for decades. Yeah, being present all the time, every week, every month, since decades. The green community, it's a weaving process, and you have to have the capacity to link multiple stakeholders and to have the capacity to create abundance around you, because sustainability needs many answers. And we have to clean water, we have to harvest rain, we have to clean communities too, and our landfills. My God, we as a civil society, we are in the middle of the heart of the action in the 33% of Querétaro state, 100,000 inhabitants, 638 communities, private land. We are the only biosphere reserve that was decreed because of the local society movement. And then I became the sheriff of the region. It was a pleasure to become a MAP UNESCO reserve, and we have been following those principles and actions. We came from Johannesburg with a diploma course, teaching and learning for a sustainable future. I was so proud, and we took that tool. My God, an ocean of information, and we translated and adapted, and it was a very successful tool for years. After I lost some alliances at federal government, and it was kept. And since 3 years ago, we have revitalized the tool, and through the virtual diploma didactic tools for teachers or educational trainers, environmental trainers. And it is on the virtual campus of the best university, well-recognized university in Mexico, the Instituto Tecnológico de Monterrey. And we are concentrating training with this diploma course a very strong force in my territory, 1 million acres, under a loving and regenerating process for motherland, teaching the little ones to become ecological leaders, and they grow. And now I have the municipalities full of old friends that used to remember where Pati were out in the schools with my accordion, doing environmental lessons, raising the wave of love for the territory, the sense of belonging and proud and duty for the motherland. So there's a lot of pride and love for this consciousness. And I have the mamas at the houses and hundreds, thousands of teachers that were trained in one way or another with Grupo Ecológico. And it worked. Yeah, and Providence with us. The Querétaro government, it's the best ally that I could expect, pushing public politics for climate action. One is the training of teachers in the whole state. We are just beginning. And the other excellent tool, it's a financing mechanism for a under local protocol, carbon reduced footprints certificates under a very loving protocol for the local communities. And God, I'm touching the heaven. It worked. After 38 years of weaving, we have a good tapestry to cover those beloved communities. And our land is regenerating, and we are going to treat the waters, and we are recycling thousands and thousands of materials, plastic, cardboard, glass, cars, cleaning the communities, and a permanent action. Yeah, all the time the parents are part of different programs that Grupo Ecológico has. Yeah, environmental education are skills for the local communities. Yeah, and to strengthen the primary production. the bees, the fruit, the corn, with agroecological practices, trying to regenerating energy since the citizenship through the financing ways to make it happen. That's what I think it's a green community. Active, live, and with a lot of energy for a very profound transformational change in the society.
Yes, I will start again from this perspective of the guidance document that we are developing, and our very basic approach to developing this document was we kind of see it as the fourth puzzle to put together the whole picture of what is needed in terms of greening education. And so it really, the Green Communities Guidance document complements the Green School Quality Standard and the Green Curriculum Guidance, and also the policy-oriented document that is developed for teacher education. As I mentioned before, I think we can really see greening communities from learning ecosystems perspective. And if we take this perspective of developing a lifelong learning ecosystem at the local level, we see that all these other pillars or areas of education have a place in it. The schools take an important role, obviously, the curricula that define the contents and also provide a framework for quality assurance for the contents on climate education. And then obviously the teacher training, and all of these components, when we look at it at the community level, we notice that we want to take a broader perspective. We want to widen the circle, while the other documents also go beyond schools per se, even if the names indicate a focus on schools. Still, they are very much focused on the formal education system. And particularly in the community context, we really want to emphasize the relevance of non-formal and informal learning and the wealth of non-formal learning places that are available at local level. So it's important. We've heard before that schools have a very important mandate, obviously, and that young people and children need to be educated to gain climate awareness and to lead the climate movement also.
Thank you so much, Edith. Thank you so much, Edith, for that very bringing the connections between these different pillars. And I really liked how you've talked about the relevance of non-formal and informal learning and the connections between the content and the lived experiences of the people. And even the fact that the whole process is a co-creation process, the roles of learners and the role of teachers, and why they may even be changing roles sometimes, who can learn from whom. So just with the same train of thoughts in terms of the different roles of the different actors, now I turn to you, Pati. Pati, you've just talked about, leading the organization over 38 years. Of course, you've worked with different stakeholders. I would just want to see how you see those linkages. Over to you, Pati.
I would like to underline the key player, the local NGO. Those are the key players we need to strengthen, because the local NGOs, the local champions that feel passion for the land, that are ready to act, to organize, etc., those are the ones that we have to power. And through the civil society movement, that may take you 40 years of weaving this social capital and be there with answers, with financing, with connections, with training all the time at every level. The training, the awareness lessons, the technical assistance to nourish that effort just can be played by the local NGOs that may be in the same nest for as long as it is needed. Yeah, we introduced this carbon idea to the Querétaro government 15 years ago. Yeah, and since then we have been with them, going with them to international meetings, to carbon forums, to, and with this approach. Then I may tell you that I work with them so close as I work with the local rural communities. It has to do with your will, with the amount of love that you may devote to support the planet. And something that I think it's absolutely necessary is to connect people to nature. Yeah, to teach the little ones to love the planet. That's key. To teach them surprise for the vegetables, for the fruits, for the amounts of love and cosmic engineering there in the fruit. God, so exciting. Teaching them to feel surprise and not growing them in a mold center, just learning to be one more consumer. Oh, connecting them to nature, that's crucial. And you may connect them since your table in the kitchen, in every meal you eat, teach them to thank and to admire all the wisdom of Mother Nature. Teaching the local ones, they're proud of being rural communities. We are not from the States, no, so many migrations, so much people going. Wow, what a cultural effect. And then we are there in the trench. Every year we celebrate 65 Earth festivals, and they have become a tradition. Yeah, with music that has been the key to go through the communities. People love singing. Yeah, and we have very good things that give your spirit for the planet, and celebrating and producing very nice didactic materials and having trainings for the parents, for the directors, for the supervisors all the time. My life, it's an educational course ongoing. It's a living experience of all the manuals that you mentioned, Edith. Yeah, in Sierra Gorda, we have that tapestry wove. And let me tell you that everything begins once in a room, in a school that I used to work in Querétaro City. The actual environmental and sustainable development minister at the subnational level was one of my students, 40 years ago. And the head of the water system used to be another student. Then I think that if you work with lots of faith, mountains of faith and perseverance, the opportunities will get there. That's why we have such a strong alliance, because we share the emergency, the climate emergency, the droughts, the fires. But we have all the support from the subnational government. I think it's a matter of the providence, to have providence in your board of directors. And definitely Sierra Gorda has those beautiful game players. Yeah. But
Wonderful.
Everything begins with waves of love. Yeah. Patience.
Yep.
And answers for everybody.
Exactly.
So,
Thank you so much, Pati. Yes.
Simon, one little more thing.
Yes, please.
¿Quién dijo que todo está perdido? Yo vengo a entregar mi corazón. Yeah, it's a matter of love. Enough love to heal the planet. Thank you. Thank you.
Enough love to heal the planet. What a way to end this webinar. So thank you very much, all the panelists, for your rich and insightful inputs through your narrations and through your song. Now, I'd like to, we had some questions